We'll start in 2 minutes. So let's get started, folks. We already wait enough time now. So let's get started. So, folks, yesterday, right? Um, so yesterday we understand few things now, right? The first thing is about the certification. So first, we understand about the certification. So I hope you remember the certifications. So we have a different certification from the AWS. Then we also understand about the some information about the uh, some information about the cloud, right? The basic information. Okay, very basic information. Am I correct? I hope you remember, guys. Let me share my screen. I hope you are able to see my screen, folks.
Yes.
Awesome. So now, if anyone asks you, right? So if anyone asks you, what is cloud? Then what exactly your answer is? So your answer is that the cloud is nothing but if you access anything via intranet or internet, that's nothing but a cloud. I repeat, if you access anything via intranet or internet is nothing but a cloud. But if you are accessing anything from the cloud, it means what exactly? So obviously from the any cloud, they also have their on-premises environment. They also have their hardwares. Now, for an example, let's say this is a laptop, and I host one website here, mysongs.com, right? So you open mysongs.com here, right? And you access the website, and now you are able to download any songs, okay? And I save all those songs on my laptop here. Now, for you, so you're downloading some songs from from my website. For you, it's you're downloading the songs from the cloud. But actually, this specific song is sitting in my laptop. So they also have the hardware as well, right? So so this is a console. So everyone has the debit card or a credit card. Everyone, just type quickly yes, no, or you can say yes. Everyone,
Yes.
can you everyone can you please type yes
No,
or
I
no
don't
on the
have.
chat? Can anyone just type yes or no on the chat? Everyone, can you please type if you have a credit or debit card? You can just type yes. If you don't have, you can just type no. One, two, three, four, five reply. Okay, no problem. So now the reason why I'm asking, okay, debit or credit card, because we need to create the AWS free tier account, and we will perform everything on that free tier account. So to create an account, right? To create an account, okay, we need Visa and Mastercard, right? So it will deduct 2 rupees from your account, and then you can use the 1 year free trial license. So we'll perform all the activity on a AWS itself only. So that's the reason I'm asking. So if you don't have Visa or Mastercard, you can just arrange it. it will deduct only 2 rupees only. Okay, and after that it won't deduct anything. So we'll create it afterwards, today or tomorrow. But first, we will understand that what exactly I'm going to cover for the entire AWS solution architecture. Okay. So till now, we just understand what different type of certifications we have for the AWS. Then I'll just understand that what exactly the cloud feature, benefit, and advantage. Obviously, I'll go more deep dive on that. Okay. It's not, oh, I'm giving only example, but I'm going more deep on that, about what exactly the cloud, what is a different type of cloud, what is the feature benefit of the cloud, right? And also I'll explain you about the capex turn into opex. So let's understand. So can anyone tell me that what exactly the meaning of capex turn into opex? Anyone? Do you know what exactly the capex turn into opex? Anyone? Any general idea? If you don't know, you can just type no. That's okay, completely. If you don't know the answer, just type no. Come on, folks. What about other? So who is iPhone? May I know the good name? So I can see there is a one participant who's mentioned iPhone. So may I know the good name?
Shweta, sir.
Shweta. Okay. Can you rename it, please?
Yes, sir. I did it. It's not possible. I will try, sir. I will check and I will do it.
Let me try to change. Yeah, it's changed now. Okay. So now see, capex turn into opex. So you use Gmail, everyone, right? Correct? Quick
Yes.
yes. Okay. So now to use Gmail, what exactly you require? To use Gmail, what is the requirement?
Phone number, Gmail ID.
Yeah, an internet connection, right?
Yeah.
That's it. So you don't need to invest any specific hardware for to use Gmail, correct? I mean to say dedicated hardware. You can access Gmail from anywhere. There is no special requirement that you need to have these hardware to access the Gmail, or to you don't need to install anything. Am I correct, folks? It means what? To use this specific application, you don't need to invest any hardware. So when I say the capex turn into opex, it means what? You don't need to invest any hardware or to use these applications. That's the main benefit of any cloud. Okay, you can note it down. Capex turn into the opex. Okay. So folks, now what you can do is you can just create the AWS space training folder. Okay. What you can do is you can just create the AWS training folder on your laptop. Now the reason is that I'll share you a lot of links. I'll also share you some applications. I'll also share you some notes. I'll also share you some PDF PPT files with you. So I'm expecting that you can save those files on a centralized, not in the download or desktop. So now what you can do is you can just create one AWS folder, and under that, let's create one links.txt file. Just create links.txt file, one text file. So now what you need to do is you need to save all the URL. So whatever the links I'm sharing with, one important link, so that you can store on the that links.txt only. Let's create one folder. let's create link one folder. And let's create links.txt. So now first link I'm going to share with you, this is the one. Now let's save this URL and just mention this is the our exam guide. You can just save the file link and just save it as an exam guide. So now here you can see, okay, these are the entire syllabus. Okay, so now the AWS syllabus is totally on these part. Right? So as I said yesterday, what exactly the AWS solution architecture is. So that is design, manage, and planning. So you can see that we have a total 4 domain. Domain 1, design secure architecture. Domain 2, design resilient architecture. Domain 3, design high performance architecture. Domain 4, design cost optimized architectures. So these are the total 4 domains that we have. Okay, so now what exactly I'm going to cover in the entire AWS Solution Architect Associate, right? So now, okay, we are learning the AWS Solution Architect Associate 03 version. This is the latest one. Okay, so you can save it. Just give me 1 minute. Something happened to my keyboard. So now what exactly we are going to learn? So this is the AWS Solution Architect Associate 03. This is 03 version. So from last year, okay, AWS start the latest one, that's the 03. So this is our exam code. So please save it in your notes. Now, what exactly we are going to learn now? Give me 1 second. Let me open some PPT. Just give me 1 minute. Okay. So now what exactly we are going to learn in these, next 1 or 2 months? Let's understand this. So now, as I said that AWS is a completely product. We are into the product training. So you can just skip these part. Okay, let's focus only on module wise. Just skip the or just forget the lunch and these part. because that's a different one. I just want to explain the syllabus mainly. So folks, here first, as I say that first I'll explain you the basic information about the cloud. So as I said yesterday, that now if you want to start your career in AWS, then you can start with a cloud practitioner. But now, no, the cloud practitioner, they don't have, or the certification, they don't have any values, proper value. So you will get a value, or your CV will get value the moment you completed the AWS Solution Architect Associate. But I can see you don't have any experience on the cloud, or you don't know much aware about the cloud. So that's the reason we decided that we can go from the basic one, from the scratch only. So first, I'll explain you about what exactly the cloud, what is a different type of clouds. Then, so there are two type of clouds. One is the architecture, and another is the updations. So that I'll explain you. Then I'll explain you about the infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a services. Right. So these concepts I'll explain you. Then I'll also explain you about the cost difference. Why exactly we are using the cloud? What benefit we will get? How much cost we will save? I'll also show you the analysis, detailed analysis about if you are on the on-premises environment, then what exactly the cost is, and if you are using any cloud services, then what exactly the cost is. So that I'll explain you, right? I'll also explain you about the main benefit. It means what? As I said yesterday, when I asked you about the difference between Ola and Uber, so the maintenance, right? So you said that if you are using the Ola and Uber, you don't need to pay any maintenance cost, right? That's the taken care by the the Ola and Uber. So here also the maintenance is completely taken care by the AWS. So how exactly? So it's not like that you are using the AWS, so your all the responsibility is an AWS responsibility. So there are some things which a customer has to take care. There are something which AWS has to take care. So it's called the shared responsibility model. So I'll also explain you that what exactly the shared responsibility model is. Then once we complete all the basic things, then I'll start with this architecture fundamental. Now in architecture fundamental, mainly I'll talk about the AWS, and I'll also talk about the infrastructure, the global infrastructure. So just now I explained you that okay, the mysongs.com. Okay, I create a website, right? I develop the website, right, and I'll upload it on my laptop. So obviously for me it is the hardware, but for you it's in cloud. So let's say my laptop's RAM is, let's say, 16 GB, right? And let's say 24 2.4 gigahertz. So from 1 minute or let's say my PC is able to handle, let's say, 20 hits. Okay, 20 hits means 20 user can access my website in a single time. But what about if it is goes 60, right? Obviously my laptop will not process those 40 additional requests. Why? Because I don't have a capacity. So how exactly AWS manage the capacity? So that also we are going to understand in the architecture fundamentals. Then I'll also explain you about the we'll also explain you about the security. Now, what exactly the security? So here we will mainly focus on IAM. That's nothing but a identity and access management. Now, when I say the IAM, it means what? That's the centralized management for your console. It means from here you can create your user, your groups, your policy. Yeah. Anyone have any question? Okay. So as I said that from here we can create a user, groups, policies, right? Because the AWS is a product, it's a completely corporate product. So in your corporate environment, you are not the only person who's going to access the AWS. There are many persons. There are developer, the QA testers, the productions team, some different project team. They required to access the AWS. So how you can give the permissions, right? So let's say I'm the one who is a manager of the AWS. Okay, so I know I want the full access of the AWS. But now the QA team, they don't require a entire full access of the AWS. What they need is they need a few access on. So how you can manage the users? So for to manage the users, we have IAM. That's nothing but a identity and access management. How exactly you can create those policies, so that we are going to understand in a IAM. Then, okay, so we'll cover first, that's the IAM part. Once we complete the architecture fundamentals, then I'll also explain you about how you can access AWS through the command line interface, right? So it's a product. So you can access the AWS via three way. One is a UI, that's the just now you can see the console. That's the user interface, graphical user interface. The second one, you can also access the AWS through the CLI, that's nothing but a command line interface. And third one, that you can also access the AWS through SDK, that's the software development kit. So GUI, CLI, and SDK, these are the three methods from where you can access the AWS. So how we can access it? So that I'm also going to cover here. Then once we complete that, okay, I'll start with dissect these one. Okay, so that's the storage part. So let's say this it's a corporate environment. Let's say data center where you need to store the terabytes of data or petabytes of data, right? So as you might aware about the 1024 GB, okay, equal to what? Anyone any idea? What is mean by 1024 GB? It means what? What is 1 TB? That's a terabyte. And 1024 terabyte equal to 1 petabytes, right? So how we can store all those data in AWS? So remember, we can store unlimited of data on a AWS, right? And you can also access those data from anywhere. So there is, oops, sorry. So there is a service called S3. Now, when I say S3, it means what? That's a simple storage service, like in Google Drive, right? So how exactly we can create a folder, how we can upload the file, how we can share the file. Then there are some different storage classes. So that, well, okay, I'm going to explain. Also, I'm also going to explain about the EFS, Elastic File Storage, and the Elastic Block Storage. These are also the three pointers, different options. Okay, so that also I'm going to cover. Then once we complete the module 2, so obviously I'm going to change the order. Then once we complete the second one, again we'll complete the third part, that's the compute. Now what exactly the compute? Now the compute, it means mainly we focus on EC2. Now when I say the EC2, it means what? That's the Elastic Compute Cloud. Okay. Now what is mean by Elastic Compute Cloud? It means what? Creating the virtual machines. We'll create the virtual machine on the cloud and we access it. Right? So now a virtual machine, it means what? Your Windows, any servers. So whether it is a Windows 2016 server, 2020, 2022 servers, anything, the server with the MySQL, right? So then the Linux server, Red Hat servers, Ubuntu servers, Debian servers. So you can create all the servers in a compute models. So we'll understand how to create the virtual machine, how to create the web servers. We'll also understand how we can, um, add the hard disk. As
Project?
Shweta, can you please mute? So, so we'll also understand how we can attach the hard disk, how we can deattach the hard disk, how we can create the AMI, that's the Amazon Machine Images. So everything, okay, that will explain in the EC2 part. Okay, and once we cover the compute part, then we'll start the next one, that's the networking. Now when I say the networking, then it means the VPC. So the VPC is a backbone of the AWS Solution Architect Associate. So if you understand the VPC, it is very easy for you to clear the exam. But if you don't understand the VPC, then it's very difficult because it's a backbone services. Now, what is mean by VPC? So the VPC, it means what? It's a virtual private cloud. I repeat, the VPC, it means the virtual private cloud. Now, what is mean by virtual private cloud? It means what? Create your own network. So if you go to the office or college or anywhere, you will find there are different networks. There is a QA network, there is a developer network, some different projects networks, right? Then your main production server, they have different IP address as well. So let's say if you want to create the exactly the same network in a AWS, then how you can create it? So the networking part, the module 3 is a completely for the VPC. That's the virtual private cloud. And once we complete the VPC part, okay, we'll go ahead and then we'll start the monitoring services. That's this. Okay. Monitoring services and scaling services, it means what? Now the monitoring, it means the CloudWatch. So obviously you're launching lot of resources on AWS. You have a storage, you have a networking, you have the compute capacity. So you need something to monitor the environment, right? So you can see task manager. So if you open the task manager, you will see what exactly is going on your laptop or desktop, how many processes going on. The same thing here. Let's say there is a one server who is now out of capacity. Obviously, you need some alarm from the AWS who will tell you that okay, this CPU usage is very high, or let's say there is some issue with the hard disk or anything. So the CloudWatch is a monitoring tool. So in monitoring tool, we'll understand about the CloudWatch, CloudTrail, right? So these are the main focus point. So we'll understand, okay, the monitoring and scaling. It means what? That's the elastic load balancer and also the auto scaling part. So I'll explain you what exactly the load balancer and the auto scaling as well, right? And plus monitoring. And once we complete the monitoring scaling, then we will go ahead. The next part, that's the database services. Right? Now the database, it means what? We will going to create a database on the cloud. Okay, so there are mainly the two services that we have in solution architecture. That's the relation database services and the other one, non-relation database services. So the RDS, it means your MySQL, then Aurora, then Oracle. These are the things. And non-relation database, it means what? The DynamoDB. So we are going to create the database. We'll also see how we can create a backup, how we can create a DR, right? So everything we will see in these database modules. And once we complete the database models, okay, so I'll also cover these in the VPC model. Then we'll see about the automations. What exactly the automations? So here we will use the cloud formation tool, right? So using the cloud formation tools, how exactly we can create the environment, right? So this is also one of the big topic, that's the automation, cloud formation templates. So we'll understand about the cloud formation templates. We'll also understand about the elastic beanstalk, how exactly we can create, how exactly using the code, how we can create the environment. So that we are going to learn in a automations. That's the module 8. Then we'll also understand the container part. So here we'll understand about the ECS, ECR, then EKS. Okay. Now the ECS, it means what? Elastic container, right? Elastic container service. ECR, it means Elastic Container Repository. EKS, it means Elastic Kubernetes Services. So these are also one of the important topics. So we'll also understand how exactly we can create the container in AWS. So these are the services which we are going to cover in a container model. Then I'll also cover these in a VPC itself. Then we'll also understand about the important model about the serverless. Now serverless. So when I say I have a wireless headphone. So when I say the wireless headphone, it means what? I can listen the music or voice without the wire. Okay. It connected without any wire. So that's nothing but a wireless. Now let's say if you want to execute some code, let's say your Java code, Python code, then you need to have some hardware, you need to have some application, and then you can execute the code. So whatever you write the code, you can execute. It means to execute that code, you need some infrastructure, you need some servers, right? But now here there are some serverless services, right? So let's say the serverless service, it means what? The Lambda, right? So the Lambda, then also you have the SQS, SNS, then you also have the the APIs, then you also have the step function. So these are what? These are the serverless services. So it means using this Lambda, you just need to upload some codes and you can directly execute it. And to execute that code, you don't require any server. That's the reason it called serverless services. So we are going to cover these Lambda, then some messaging services, some API services, and some step functions in a serverless. Then we'll also understand some edge services. Okay, so mainly here we'll cover the DNS services. Okay, now when I say DNS services, it means what? That's nothing but a Route 53 services. Let's say you want to purchase a domain. So you open the GoDaddy, you purchase the GoDaddy, some accounts, and then you can register your domain. So if you are using the AWS, then you don't need to go to the GoDaddy. You can also purchase a domain from the Route 53. You can purchase any domain and you can use it. So we'll get all the control panels. So I'm also going to explain you that what exactly the Route 53 is. how we can register the domain, how we can purchase the domain, and how exactly we can create the website. So that I'm going to cover here in a 8 services. That's the Route 53, right? So we'll also configure some cloud formation distributions S3, and then we'll also cover about the DR. That's nothing but a disaster recovery. So it is on the cloud, but it doesn't mean that you don't need to create any backup, right? So as I said just now, there are some services which customer has to take care. So it's called a shared responsibility model. So in shared responsibility model, there are some responsibility which customer has to take care, and there are some responsibility which AWS has to take care. Now here, what happens is that there are some here we have seen that there is a EC2 services, compute services, networking services, storage services, database services. Now these services require some backup as well. In case if anything goes down, you must have a backup immediately. So we'll understand how exactly we can create DR strategies. Okay, so we'll see the DR strategies in a backup and recovery. And then once we complete the backup and recovery, then we'll start about the exams, how exactly we can clear the exams. So I'll also conduct some surprise tests in between the sessions, right? So it's a completely on the real life scenario, right? And at the end of the day, I'll also conduct some exams as well. And before that, I'll also explain you that how exactly you can clear the global certifications, what kind of the preparations do you require. And at the end of the day, I'll also share my some notes, right? Some dumps, some projects as well. So I'm also giving you 2 projects, 2 or 3 projects, 3 projects total. Okay, about the serverless networking compute. I'll give that, right? And you need to prepare it, and then you can give the exams, right? So for the exams, we'll take the last topic, how exactly you can clear the exams, and then we'll brush up everything, and then here we'll end our entire syllabus. Clear, folks? Any questions here about the syllabus? Deepika, Hema, Jaya, Shweta, Virendra.
No, sir, everything is clear for me.
Okay. Okay, Shweta. What about Deepika, Virendra? Anything? Any questions? Okay. So now, folks, what we can do is first we need to create our AWS account, which is very required. So now here you have a link. Can anyone open? So only Virendra has account. So Deepika, Hema, Jaya, Shweta, can you please open the link which I shared on the chat? Can you please open the link? We need to create the AWS account now. Please open the link. So here you just need to provide your email ID, and here you can just give your AWS account name. Any name you can give your AWS account name, like Deepika, Hemaja, anything you can give. And once you give the name, just click on verify email address. So you will get one URL on your mail ID. Once you so let's verify the mail and then let's proceed further. So everyone is doing right now. Everyone, quick yes, no, please.
Yes, yes. Yes.
So remember everyone. Okay, so if you have already account, then no problem. So remember folks, you need to choose your personal account first. Okay, so whenever you create account, please make sure you create the personal account. Then second thing, do not provide PAN card number. So when it say, do you have a PAN card? So you just say no. So make a note, do not provide PAN card number. So please make sure that select the personal account and do not provide the PAN card number. So please do it right now. Do let me know if you have any concerns, anything, questions. So the account is required. So Shweta, if you join from the mobile, if you have a laptop or desktop, please make sure you create it. Please do not provide the PAN card number. So Virendra, you already have the account, then you can leave the class. That's it from my end today. I'm just checking other member.
I registered with the debit card. The 2 rupees got debited, but then it is showing
Uh-huh.
the payment method cannot be verified. Check your information and try again.
Okay, actually your bank is not allowing you to do this transaction because the international transaction is not enabled for your debit card. So you
Okay,
need to
but then
just
the 2 rupees got
no,
2
no,
rupees got.
it will refund, don't worry.
Okay. So now
So
what?
yeah, so the process is that you just need to contact your customer care and just enable that check mark for the international transactions.
Okay, I tried with the 2 cards. I mean, both are debit cards only, Rupee card.
Mm-hmm.
Both card I got the
No,
same.
you can use Visa or MasterCard. I suggest you that you can use Visa or MasterCard.
Oh, okay. Okay. So
Okay.
So maybe I think the further steps will be easy. Do I need to do anything specifically like PAN card? You have to say no.
Yeah, no, correct. And
Yeah,
when you are
after that,
creating the account, you just use the personal account.
yeah,
Free one.
only these two. Okay, only these two are the notes, right?
Correct.
Okay. Otherwise, in offline I can
Yeah,
make
you can
this.
do it. Yes.
Yeah.
Not a
Thank you.
problem. Any other question, folks? Do you have any questions? Emma, Shweta, do you have any questions? If no, we can wrap up. So you can please create this account today only. Do let me know if you have any questions. Can I expect the answer? Emma?
I will create and I will let you know, sir.
Okay, sure. So let's connect tomorrow. So for this week, we will have only 1 hour session. From next week, we'll start 2 hour sessions, full fledged, right?
Every day,
Yeah.
2 hours, sir.
Yes, from next week. We'll start early. Don't worry.
Okay.
Because see, as I said, this is a product. So daily 1 hour is not sufficient because we need to start some services, stop the services. So it may consume some time. So for continuity, 2 hour is at least minimum is required.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll meet tomorrow 8 a.m. So I request everyone please be on the time so that we can start early. Okay, so for this is just a starting, so that's the reason I'll wait for the 10 minutes. So from day after tomorrow or for whenever we start full fledged, the 5 minute is only the grace period, and then we'll start. So please make sure you join at the perfect time. So thank you everyone. Thank you for joining the sessions. Let's meet tomorrow at the same time. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Yeah, bye. Take
Thank you,
care.
sir.
Bye.